Hello everyone, this is part 1 video on past year NEET questions from the topic thermodynamics. We'll start with a question that has come in the year 2019. Under isothermal conditions, means temperature is constant. Under isothermal conditions, a gas at 300 Kelvin, this is the value of that constant temperature, expands from 0.1 liters to 0.25 liters against a constant external pressure of 2 bar. The work done by the gas is, so we need to find what is the work done by the gas. See, this is a kind of an misleading type of question, in the sense we always will remember this formula. So work done or work in case of the isothermal, reversible isothermal, okay, will be equal to what? Minus 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1. But what we must also keep in mind carefully is this is the work in case of reversible isothermal. So only in case of reversible isothermal process this will be the formula for the work, okay. And here if you look at it, it is isothermal, temperature is constant, but it is expanding against a constant external pressure of 2 bar. Now what is isothermal means? Isothermal means system properties and the surrounding properties, right? They must be always almost equal to each other. Okay, that is what we look at as the condition for the reversible. Okay, so if you look at external pressure being 2 bar constant, system is what? Temperature constant, right? Volume is changing, means what? Pressure will definitely be changing. So do you see the system pressure and surrounding pressure equal to each other? No, which means what? This is actually a case of irreversible. It's a case of irreversible isothermal. So any irreversible process, right? The work formula will be minus integral P external dV. This is general formula for the work. Okay. So here the thing is external pressure is constant. So in fact, whenever you see this information about the external pressure, right, always this is a clue to think about whether it is an reversible process or irreversible process. So for a irreversible process we require the external pressure, and that is why they will give this also. So it is a constant external pressure, right? Means the P external value is what? 2 bar, that will come out. So W is equal to minus 2 bar into integral dV will be what? V. Initial limit is 0.1 liter, final limit is 0.25 liters, means minus 2 bar into final limit value 0.25 minus 0.1, which will be 0.15 liters, that is minus 0.3 liter into bar. So this is the work, and the conversion is liter into bar will be 100 joules approximately, which means this will be what? So liter into bar will be 100 joules, so minus 0.3 into 100, it will be minus 30 joules. So this is not the work done. Here the wordings are also important. See, in chemistry thermodynamics, right, when we look at W, this W formula talks about the work interaction. The W formula talks about what? Work interaction. So which means if work is done on the system, that is energy gain. So W will be positive if work is done on the system, okay, and if work is done by the system, because it will be energy loss, then W will be coming as negative. So if you look at the wording, they are asking what is the work done by the gas. See, here W is coming as what? Minus 30 joules, which means what? 30 joules of work is done by the gas. That is why this much energy is lost for the system. So here the correct option that we have to choose is what? 30 joules, because they are asking what is the work done by the gas. So here in our chemistry thermodynamics, whenever we have the work formula, right, the W will be representing what? Work interaction between the system and the surrounding. So W positive means what? It is energy gain. When energy gain will happen? When work is done on the system. W negative means this is energy loss. So if W is coming as minus 30 joules means what? 30 joules of work is done by the gas. Okay, if in some other question we are getting W as say plus 60 joules like that, I am just giving an example, which means in that case 60 joules of work is done on the gas. So when W is coming as positive means that much work is done on the gas. When W is coming negative means that much work is done by the gas. So these wordings we have to be careful. Next we have another question that has come in NEET 2019 paper. In which case the change in entropy is negative? See, entropy represents what? Entropy represents the randomness, the energy associated in the randomness of the particles. So generally when the number of particles is increasing, so when the number of particles is increasing, especially we are talking about the gases or the liquids, or we have the volume increasing, because volume increasing means what? If we confine particles to small volume, they can only move within this particular segment of volume. If we give a higher volume means the randomness will be more. So when volume is increasing, this will represent an entropy increase, means entropy change will be what? Positive. So here the question is, in which case the entropy change is going to be negative. So when they say entropy is negative means they are talking about entropy change of the process. Look at this in the first option A, right? 2 hydrogen atoms are becoming 1 hydrogen molecule, gas particles. So here what is happening? 2 hydrogen atoms means we have 2 atoms are becoming just 1 particle, 1 molecule, means the number of particles is not increasing. Number of particles is what? The number of gas particles is here in fact decreasing. So this would represent what? This would represent a decrease in the entropy, means for that, because the entropy change means what? Final entropy minus initial entropy, right? Always delta S means what? It will be the entropy final value minus entropy initial value. So in this case what we see is that the entropy change is going to be negative. Now if you see the other options, right? Evaporation of water means what? Liquid is turning itself into a vapor. This is basically from liquid state to gaseous state. So liquid state means the particles will be moving only within the volume of the liquid. Gaseous state means the randomness of particles will increase. Gas particles will be able to move in the entire volume of the container. So entropy will be increasing. So here entropy change will be what? Positive. Expansion of gas at constant temperature. Again, when the gas is expanding, what do we see? Volume will increase, right? So entropy also will be increasing. Then sublimation of the solid to gas. So if you have solid particles converting itself into the vapor or gas, this is also going to be what? Change where the randomness of particles will be increasing. Solid means the particles will be having almost fixed positions where they will only vibrate with respect to positions, whereas vapor or gaseous state means they will have more randomness to move within the volume of the container. So here also the entropy change will be what? Positive. So the only process where entropy change is negative is the first one. Next we have a question that has come in the Odisha paper NEET 2019. An ideal gas expands isothermally, means what? Temperature is constant from 10 power minus 3 meter cube to 10 power minus 2 meter cube. It is expanding from 10 power minus 3 to 10 power minus 2, okay, at 300 Kelvin against a constant pressure of 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. The work done on the gas. So here again we are having a familiar kind of an question. I think NEET 2019, the All India paper also had a similar type of question. The only difference is in that question they were asking what is the work done by the gas. Here we are asking what is work done on the gas. Same. So whenever we talk about isothermal, right, if you look at the W formula, minus 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1, this is not always the work for the isothermal change. It is only for the reversible isothermal change. This formula for work is only for what? Reversible isothermal change, okay. And if you see what is happening is at constant temperature, we are keeping temperature constant, and the volume of the system is changing. How it is changing? 10 power minus 3 meter cube to it is changing to 10 power minus 2 meter cube. That is how the volume is changing, okay. And if you look at the surrounding is at a constant pressure. What is the constant pressure of surroundings? It is 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. So system at constant temperature, if you change the volume, means pressure will be what? Changing. Pressure also will be changing for the system, means this is not a reversible process. The one that we have, it is a irreversible process. The process that we have is actually an irreversible process. In case of an irreversible process, how do we find the work? Work will be given by the general formula, P external dV. Okay, so this is the general work formula. So here the external pressure is a constant value, which is what is the constant? 10 power 5 Newton per meter square into integral dV will be what? V. So limits are what? Initial limit is 10 power minus 3 meter cube. Final limit is 10 power minus 2 meter cube. So if you look at it, what is it going to come as? Minus 10 power 5 Newton per meter square into what is the delta V, final volume minus initial volume, right? The final volume is what? 10 power minus 2. So 10 power minus 2 minus 10 power minus 3. This will be in terms of meter cube. Okay. So if you take 10 power minus 3 common out, 10 power, this is not minus 5, it is 5. 10 power 5 Newton per meter square, okay, into 10 power minus 3 will come. So here it will be 10 minus 1. So meter square will cancel. So minus 10 power 2, 10 minus 9, okay, so which is what? Minus 900. Newton to meter is what? Joules. So W is coming as what? Minus 900 joules. Okay, so here if you look at it, right, W negative, remember, we talked about in the previous problem also, W negative means what? This much of work is done by the gas. So always W negative represents what? Work is done by the gas. Energy loss means 900 joules of work is done by the gas. But the question they are asking is not about work done by the gas. They are asking what is the work done on the gas. So conventionally what we say, if we are saying 900 joules of work is done by the gas, if you have to tell it in the other way, so they are asking what is the work done on the gas. So what we will be saying, we will say that the work done on the gas will be minus 900 joules. So if we are getting, W negative coming in means what? Always in our thermodynamics convention, this much 900 joules of work is done by the gas. That's why W is coming as negative. Okay. But in the question statement, they are asking what is the work done on the gas. So work done on the gas means we have to express it as minus 900. Next we have another question that has come in 2019 Odisha paper NEET. So we can see that definitely every year we are getting 2 questions from this particular chapter. Reversible expansion of an ideal gas under isothermal and adiabatic conditions. Both are what? Reversible. Are shown in the figure. So the AB is what? Isothermal. AC is our adiabatic. We can see adiabatic curve will be on the PV diagram, right? Adiabatic curve will be always more steeper. Okay. Which of the following options is not correct? Means we have to pick what is the wrong. We have to pick what is the wrong one. Okay. So first is what? Delta S for the isothermal is more than delta S for the adiabatic. So if you look at the reversible, or both of them are what? Reversible. Okay. So delta S will be what? It will be del Q in a reversible process by the corresponding temperature. This is how we will find the delta S. Okay. So in case of an adiabatic process, the del Q will be what? If we are looking at the reversible, del Q will be 0. So which means what? Delta S of the adiabatic process for the reversible case is what? It will be 0. What about the delta S of the isothermal? See, for isothermal process, right, what is the first law formula? First law formula will be the heat exchange plus the work will be equal to what? Delta U. And delta U is 0 for the isothermal, means del Q will be equal to what? Minus W. This is a reversible isothermal, right? Means minus 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1. Okay. So this is W will be minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. So minus minus it will become what? Plus. So del Q for the reversible isothermal process will be what? 2.303 nRT log of V2 by V1. Okay, and what we see is delta S will be what? Del Q reversible by temperature. We are dividing this by temperature. Okay, so temperature is cancelled. So what is it going to be? The delta S value will be equal to what? 2.303 nr log V2 by V1, and we can see that this is expansion, so final volume is more than initial volume. So this entire term will be what? Some value positive. I mean, we will not be able to comment on what is the value, but it will be some value positive. So what is the conclusion here? The delta S for the reversible isothermal will be positive, whereas in case of the expansion, of course, okay, here we are looking at the expansion case, and delta S for the reversible adiabatic is what? It is 0. Delta S for the reversible adiabatic is what? 0. Since it is a reversible isothermal expansion, that's why the delta S will be coming as what? Positive. So this is the correct one. And option B is saying what? TA is equal to TB. See, AB is what? Isothermal, right? Means temperature here must be equal to temperature. So TA must be equal to TB because it is isothermal. Then option C is saying what? W in case of isothermal is more than W adiabatic. See, remember the PV graph, the indicator diagram, right? Work in case of the reversible process is given by what? It is given by the area under the PV graph. We can clearly see that area below the isothermal part is more than area below the adiabatic. So here also work in case of the isothermal is more than work in case of the adiabatic. That is also correct. By now itself we can conclude what is the option for this question, because they are asking which is the incorrect, okay, or the wrong statement. Then definitely the option D must be the wrong, but we'll just check it. What is option D saying? TC is more than TA. See, AC process is what? Adiabatic. In case of adiabatic expansion, volume is increasing. In case of the adiabatic expansion, right, what will be happening? The heat exchange will not be there, and expansion means the gas has to do work. So where the gas will get the energy from? It will do the work at the expense of the internal energy. That is why we also call it as what? Adiabatic cooling. So whenever a gas is expanding under adiabatic conditions, it will be cooling. Why? Because it is going to lose its internal energy, and using that internal energy only it will be able to do the work. So cooling means what? The TC temperature will be less than TA. So here in the option D they are saying TC is more than TA. That will be incorrect. So the one that is not correct option among them is what? The option 4, because in adiabatic expansion, reversible adiabatic expansion, right, the delta Q will be 0, which means the gas is doing work. It will do the work from the internal energy. So it will do the work at the expense of its internal energy. So it will lose the internal energy, thereby it gets cooled. That's why it is also called as what? Adiabatic cooling phenomena. Next we have a question that has come in the year NEET 2018. The bond dissociation energies of X2, Y2 and XY are in the ratio 1:0.5:1. So they are not giving the exact values, they are giving the ratio. Delta H for the formation of XY means what? What is the reaction that represents formation of XY? Half mole of X2 plus half mole of Y2 gives rise to what? XY. This is the equation that represents the formation. Remember, whenever we talk about the reaction for the formation of a substance, we must be forming 1 mole of the substance from the basic constituents. For this reaction, right, the delta H value is given. What is the delta H value given as? It is given as minus 200 kilojoule per mole. Okay. The bond dissociation energy of X2 will be how much? They are asking what is the bond dissociation energy of X2. This is more of an algebraic kind of a question. So since they didn't give us the values, they are giving only in terms of ratio, right? So let us say that the bond dissociation energy of X2 and Y2 and XY, what is the ratio in which they are present? 1:0.5:1, right? So let us take them as what? X, 0.5 into X and X, because if you look at this ratio, right, what is the ratio? X is to 0.5 into X is to X. What is it? If we cancel X, it will be 1:0.5:1. So this is how we can generally take the values. So here we are introducing a variable. X is the variable. So whenever in some of the other questions also, we will see that this is a suitable technique. Whenever certain things are given in the particular ratio, we can introduce the variable and then take it in the respective form. So here the bond energy of x2 will be what? X. Bond energy of y2 will be 0.5x. Bond energy of xy will be x. Okay. Now what is the given information for the formation reaction? Delta H is what? Minus 200 kilojoule. So for every chemical reaction, the relation between delta H and bond energies is what? Delta H will be equal to bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. Okay, so most of the times we will have the relation in terms of the product value minus reactant value. If you talk about the delta H formula in terms of enthalpies, right? How do we write it? It will be enthalpy of the product, sum of the enthalpies of the products minus sum of the enthalpies of the reactants. But when it comes to the bond energies, right, it will be the other way around. Delta H will be equal to what? The bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. Now if we just substitute the values, so reactant means what? We have half a mole of x2 and half a mole of y2. So look at this, the delta H value is minus 200 is equal to what? Reactant half a mole of x2. What is the bond energy of x2? X. So half into x will come. Half a mole of y2. Half into, for y2 what is the value? 0.5 into x, right? So we'll get half into 0.5 into x. Minus bond energy of product. Product is what? xy, right? 1 mole of xy we have. Means minus 1 into x will come. So if you look at it, right, what is it? Minus 200 is equal to, this is half x, this is 0.5 means we can write it as what? 1 by 2. So half plus 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 is 1 by 4. Totally it is what? 3 by 4. Totally this is what? 3 by 4 x minus x. That will be minus 1 by 4 x. Okay. So the minus is cancelled. We will get x is equal to what? 800. Okay. So the unit is going to be kilojoule per mole. And what is the question they are asking? They are asking what is the bond dissociation energy of x2. So what is the bond dissociation energy of x2 we are taking? That is x, right? We already got the value of x. What is the value of x? 800 kilojoule per mole. So the correct answer is option C. So here in this question, right, we have to look at this formula importantly. How do we relate the enthalpy change of a chemical reaction to the bond energy of the reactants and the products? It will be bond energy of the reactants minus bond energy of the products. Next we have a question that has come in the NEET 2017 paper. For a given reaction delta H and delta S, so they are giving us the delta H value and delta S value. The reaction is spontaneous at, so means if you look at these options, right, they are talking in terms of at what temperatures the reaction will be spontaneous, and they are also giving us a condition. Assume that delta H and delta S do not vary with temperature. They are asking us to assume that the enthalpy change and entropy change will remain constant with respect to temperature. So when a reaction will be spontaneous, it will be spontaneous when delta G is negative. So delta G negative will be the condition for the spontaneity of a reaction. But what is delta G? Delta H minus T delta S. Okay. So for the chemical reactions, right, so whenever we have chemical reactions, delta G will be equal to what? The del H minus T delta S. Why? Because chemical reactions happen at a fixed temperature. Chemical reactions will happening at a fixed temperature. Otherwise, normally, what is G? G will be equal to H minus Ts, right? So delta G for a general process will be equal to what? Delta H minus delta of T into S. Okay, means it will be what? T2S2 minus T1S1 like that. Okay, so final temperature into final entropy minus initial temperature into initial entropy. This is for the delta G of a general process. This is the delta G of a general thermodynamic process. But here we are talking about the delta G of a chemical reaction. What is delta G of a chemical reaction? Delta H minus T delta S. Okay. So here the spontaneity means what? Delta H minus T delta S should be less than 0, means delta H should be less than T delta S. Otherwise, the temperature rate should be more than delta H by delta S. If you bring it here, means delta H by delta S should be less than temperature. Otherwise, temperature should be more than delta H by delta S. Okay, so here we have to be careful about the units. So look at this, delta H is given as what? 35.5 kilojoule per mole. Delta S 83.6 joule per Kelvin per mole. So we have to take care of the units. So 35.5 kilojoule, right? We'll convert this into joule. Into 1000 will come. Okay. So T must be more than delta H by delta S, right? So we convert this into joule, means we have to multiply by 1000. So 35.5 into 1000 will come, divided by 83.6. So if you look at the units, right, what is the numerator unit? Joule per mole. Denominator is what? Joule per Kelvin per mole. So the joule per mole will get cancelled. Denominator we have Kelvin inverse. It will go to the numerator, becomes Kelvin. Okay, so the temperature reading we are getting must be in what unit? Kelvin units. Okay, so this is what numerator is 35,500 divided by 83.6. Approximately we will get the value as what? 425. So here, we just have to look at what will be the approximate value of the temperature that will come. Means what? The temperature must be more than 425 Kelvin. So then the reaction will become what? Spontaneous. So generally what is observed is if both delta H and delta S both are positive, at high temperatures the reaction becomes spontaneous. Why? Because if you look at the formula, right, delta H minus T delta S. If delta H is positive, delta S also is positive. Then at very high temperatures, what is going to happen? The overall second term will become, overall second term is negative, right? If delta S is positive, means the overall we are having a minus here. So at high temperatures we will see that the del G becomes negative and the reactions will become spontaneous. So at temperature more than 425 Kelvin, the reaction becomes what? Spontaneous. So these kind of questions are also quite common in NEET. Many a number of years they have asked this particular model of question. Under what conditions the reaction becomes spontaneous? Always you have to use the same formula. Del G must be negative, means delta H minus T delta S must be negative. From there we will get the condition in terms of the temperature. Next we have a question that has come in NEET 2017. A gas is allowed to expand in a well insulated container. Well insulated container means what? The heat exchange Q will be 0 against a constant external pressure of 2.5 atm from initial volume of 2.5 liters to final volume of 4.5 liters. This process is also happening what? Against a constant external pressure, where the external pressure value is what? 2.5 atm, and the volume is increasing from 2.5 liters to 4.5. The change in internal energy delta U of the gas, we have to get the value in terms of joules. Now again, if we consider this to be the irreversible process, it's a constant external pressure, so minus P external, integral dV means what? V. So we have the limits V1 to V2, basically minus P external into delta V. This is the work. This is the work formula. Okay, so which means work will be equal to what? Minus P external delta V. P external is 2.5 atm into delta V means what? 4.5 liters minus 2.5, which is 2. So the value will be coming as what? Minus 5 liter atmosphere. But they are asking they're not asking work, they are asking delta U. But they are asking delta U in terms of joule. So let us find out the work also in terms of joule. What is the conversion? 1 liter atmosphere. So this is a conversion that we must always keep in mind. 1 liter atmosphere will be equal to 101.325 joule. What is 1 liter into atmosphere in terms of joules? It will be 101.325 joule. So minus 5 into 101.325, that will be minus 506.625 joule. So we got the work, but they are not asking work, they are asking the change in the internal energy. So as per the first law of thermodynamics, right, what do we have? Delta U is equal to what? Q plus W. Otherwise we can also write it as what? Delta U is equal to del Q plus W. That's another way in which we can write it. Okay, since it is happening in an isolated manner, basically means what? The Q will be 0. So Q value will be equal to what? 0. If Q is 0 means what do we get? We can see that Q is 0 means what? In this formula Q is 0 means del U is equal to what? W. So del U is equal to W. W value is minus 506.625. So approximately what is it? We can choose minus 505. So here the sign value also will be important, because here W negative indicates what? There is an internal energy loss. W positive will represent the gain in the internal energy or increase in the internal energy. W negative means it represents loss in internal energy or the decrease in the internal energy. So in thermodynamics, right, while you may be vaguely clear in terms of formulae, if you are not thorough in terms of sign convention, then there is always a chance that you might end up getting a wrong answer, because you can see in almost all the questions we discussed so far, there is a plus value for the same as well as minus. In this question also there is a minus 505 and there is also plus 505. So if you are not clear in terms of sign convention, we may end up getting wrong answers. So we have to be very careful about it. Next, we have a question that has come in the NEET paper 2 of 2016. For a sample of a perfect gas, when its pressure is changed isothermally from P initial to P final, the entropy change is given by. Okay, so here we are looking at the isothermal process. So isothermal process, assuming we are performing reversible isothermal. Okay, so if you are looking at reversible isothermal, right, then what is the W formula? W will be equal to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1 or log P1 by P2. Okay, so here P1 means what? P initial, P2 means what? P final. So here in the option they are giving in terms of the natural logarithm. So in fact, in the derivation of work, if you look at it, before the decimal logarithm we will actually get the natural logarithm. So the actual formula will be minus nRT ln P1 by P2, means P initial by P final. Okay, so this is the W formula. In case of isothermal, right, if you look at the first law, delta U is equal to what? Del Q plus W. Delta U is 0, so del Q will be what? Minus W, means minus of minus nRT ln P initial by P final. Okay, so minus minus will become plus. So del Q will be equal to what? nRT ln P initial by P final. And in case of the entropy change calculation, entropy change is what? Del Q in the reversible process by the temperature. So del Q reversible is what? nRT ln P initial by P final divided by T. So what will be the correct answer? It will be nR ln P initial by P final, which is option B. It's a straight formula based question if you remember the formula. Otherwise we have to sit and derive it in the examination. So that's why for the general process, right, if you can remember the entropy change formula, it will be of use, because we see that straight we are getting questions on the formula itself. Next, we have a question that has come in the NEET paper 1 of 2016. The correct thermodynamic conditions for the spontaneous reaction at all temperatures is. So we are looking for what? The spontaneous condition. So delta G is the one that will determine whether a reaction is spontaneous or not. So when the reaction will be spontaneous? When delta G is negative. Okay, so here we have no option but to check for these given A, B, C, D. So if you look at the reaction where delta H is negative, we are looking at the option A. Delta H is negative and delta S is positive, because remember in this formula, right, temperature is the temperature taken on the Kelvin scale or the absolute scale, means temperature value will be always positive. So it is not Celsius scale where temperature can be negative and positive both. So it is always going to be positive. So if you have delta H negative and delta S positive, right, look at this, delta H negative, delta S is what? Positive. Now the overall second term, there is a minus here. What is second term? First term is delta H, second term is what? Minus T delta S. So since delta S is positive, the second term overall will become negative because it is minus T delta S. First term is what? First term is what? Delta H. Second term is minus T delta S. First term is coming as what? Negative. Second term is also coming as what? Negative, irrespective of the temperature. So what do we see? This option A talks about spontaneity at all conditions of temperature. Okay, so we got option A. If you look at option B, what is option B? delta H is negative, delta S is negative. See, if you look at the expression, right, delta H minus T delta S, okay, this is the del G. If this is negative and this is also negative, now what we see is first term is what? First term is negative. Second term is minus T delta S. Second term is coming as what? Positive. Now there will be an issue, because if we go to high temperatures, right, what is going to happen? The second term will become more and more positive. Means, at very high temperatures we will have a situation where del G can be positive. Means we can move into non-spontaneity. Means, this is not going to be giving us the spontaneity under all conditions. What about option C? Option C is saying delta H is negative and delta S is 0. See, if we look at delta H is the first term, it's negative, okay. Second term is what? Minus T delta S, right? Since delta S is 0 means second term is 0. So here also temperature will not play a role. Since the first term is negative, always the del G will be negative. So we'll see that option C. In this case, we are having both the options suiting our situation. Both option A will give us spontaneity under all conditions. Option C also will give us spontaneity under all conditions. Okay. Then we look at option D. What is option D? Del H positive and delta S negative. See, del H positive means what? The first term is positive. Second term is minus T delta S. They are saying delta S negative, right? If delta S is negative means minus T delta S will be again what? Positive. So we'll see that overall it is positive. First term is positive, second term is positive. So this option D, right, irrespective of the temperature, that is going to be always non-spontaneous. Delta H positive and entropy change negative. In fact, if you look at any thermodynamic process or a chemical reaction, right, these are the two driving factors. One is enthalpy negative means what? It is decreasing. Okay, enthalpy change negative means what? Enthalpy is decreasing. And entropy change positive means what? Entropy change positive means the entropy or randomness will be what? Increasing. So these are the two driving phenomena. So decrease in energy and increasing in entropy. Okay. So if one of them is not favorable, what are the two favorable conditions? Enthalpy decreasing is favorable, entropy increasing is favorable. If one of them is not favorable, then we will have a condition in terms of temperature. But if both are unfavorable, right, in the option D case it is happening, then the reaction can never become spontaneous. So for this question we have two options, both option A as well as option C. Next we have a straight equation based question. This has come in the NEET paper 1 of 2016. Consider the following liquid vapor equilibrium. So liquid converting itself into vapor. Which of the following relations is correct? So if you look at this, right, this is actually the differential form of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So what is Clausius-Clapeyron equation? It is an equation that relates the pressure and temperature conditions of a equilibrium involving gases. So typically the liquid vapor equilibrium, right, how the enthalpy change is related to the pressure and temperature of the gas. So the differential form of the equation is option B. So d ln P by dt, right, will be equal to what? Delta H for the evaporation process by RT square. If you rearrange them, d ln P will be equal to what? Delta H evaporation by RT square into dt. On integrating it, right, so if you integrate on both sides, left hand side we will get integration limits will be P1 to P2. Here the temperature limits will be T1 to T2. Left hand side integration is what? Ln P. So which is what? Ln P2 by P1. Okay, that will be equal to, on the right hand side we will be having delta H evaporation by R, that is a constant, integral dt by T square, that will be equal to minus 1 by T. Integral dt by T square will be what? Will be minus 1 by T. So it will be minus 1 by T2, minus of minus 1 by T1 means plus 1 by T1. So what is the form we are going to get? Ln P2 by P1 is equal to delta H by V into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. So ln P2 by P1 is equal to what? Delta H evaporation by R into 1 by T1 minus 1 by T2. We can also write in this manner. Ln of P1 by P2 is equal to what? Delta H evaporation by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1, by just changing the sign values. So this is a straight question on the differential form of the Clausius-Clapeyron equation. So the correct answer for this is option B. By integrating this differential form, we will get the normal Clausius-Clapeyron equation that we will use while solving problems. So this is about the part 1 video, and we will see in the next part.